Ratchapol Vithayanun from Kasetsart University, and I am delighted to be your MC for this morning. Today we have the privilege of hearing from five distinguished guest presenters who will share their research on some of the most pressing and forward-looking topics in education. From understanding student needs to building the skills for the sustainable and tech-infused future. Let's begin with our first presentation from the Office of Education Council. I am pleased to introduce our first speaker, Ms. Chayanit Suwankan, an educator from the OEC Bureau of Educational Research and Development. Her presentation is titled Need-Driven Learning, Learning Models for Enhancing Future Skills. Ms. Suwankan will present findings from a large-scale needs analysis that asks a fundamental question. What do our students actually want and need from their education? She will share data-driven insights from the Priority Needs Index, PNI, and revealing the different priorities of school-age children versus adolescents in areas like learning processes, technology, and policy. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Chayanit Suwankan.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. It is a great honor to be here to present our research on needs-driven learning model for enhancing future skill. My name is Chayanit Suwankan, educator from Bureau of Educational Research and Development under Office of the Education Council. As we all know, we are living in an era of rapid change in 21st century. This transformation profoundly impacts every sector, especially education, which plays a crucial role in developing human quality. In 2022, the OECD survey current situation and baseline competency level from Thai school age and adolescents in three critical skills: digital literacy, and creative thinking. The results reveal a widening gap between the skills students are acquired and the future skills necessary to navigate our complex world. Thailand and like many nations recognize the urgency of preparing our youth for this inevitable changing. To truly address the issue, we must understand the specific needs of today's learner. Our research conducted by OEC aims to expose to need and satisfaction of Thai learners in school 5 to 14 years, adolescents 15 to 21 years. Regarding learning management for enhancing future skills, we focus on three key areas: digital literacy, and creative thinking. What we found was a significant gap between what learners need to enhance their learning and what is currently provided. If we feel address the gap, the constancy and are under the youth will be unprepared for the challenges for 21st century. This means work for likely access essential skill, which will in turn hinder national development and sustainability. Imagine your youth unable to critically analyze information or creative server probing. Those learners will be left behind in a fast-paced world. This is not just an education crisis. It is a social and economic one. But everyone imagine a future where educational system is responsive, dynamic, and truly empowering for learners. Schools were learning a joyful and engagement, where technology is seamless and equally integrated into teaching. A future where students are active participants in shaping their own education journey. And a future everyone from childhood to adolescence is equipped with future skills to thrive in 21st century and contribute to the nation's sustainable development. The challenge lies in the limitation of one-size-fits-all education models we currently employ. Our research highlights that learners need very significant based on factors like school affiliation, gender, household income, and learning style. A standardized curriculum or teaching models is simply not enough because different children different needs. This is where need-driven learning comes in. Our methodology began with a qualitative foundation, drawing from in-depth interview and focus group with various stakeholders. Then conducted a large-scale national survey and learner need and satisfaction of Thai learners, covering over 8,800 participants from school age and adolescents. We focus on 4 key variables: school affiliation, gender, household income, and learning style. And covered needs relate to the learning process, environment, technology, and policy. We use descriptive static to identify the gap between learner need and their significance, employing the mean difference method (MDF), appropriate learning model. More important, our research didn't just identify gaps, it prioritized these needs, use Priority Needs Index (PNI), and high PNI value indicate a more critical need, guiding us toward developing the most appropriate learning model. Now, everyone, I would like to invite you to engage with me. Let's try to get what do our younger learners need the most? Please scan the QR code on the screen. These 5 factors you see are in a particular order. And you select the one you believe is most critical for school age. About 10 seconds. Wow. Oh. Okay. Let's see the results. Most of you choose self-development activities based on personal attitude, followed by short and simple content. Now, let's compare this with the student voice. According to our finding, the top priority for school aid is fun and stress-free learning. It is a bit surprising. And now, let's do it same for adolescents. Scan the QR code again and select their top need. Okay. According to the results, your top choice in this room is hands-on learning and real-world experience, followed by teacher with maturity and understanding. But what adolescents themselves said? I guess that compare your guess. And everyone noting the difference between two age groups. This proves that tailored learning is essential. Next, let's look at environment, physical, intangible, and at home. In the physical environment, the top priority for both groups is sufficient, clean, and usable learning space. For the intangible environment, school want respect for right, freedom, and privacy. While adolescents want relaxed and pressure-free atmosphere that boosts encouragement. And at home environment, school lack respect for personal and other life, freedom, and privacy. While for adolescents, prioritize are designated study, computer, corner. In terms of technology, both age groups prioritize fast, accessible, and inclusive internet. They also share the same top priorities, which includes modularly ready-to-use hardware and software, and equipped hardware and software. And for policy, school aid want curriculum that help discover self-identity, while adolescents prioritize courses aligned with interest and attitude. Furthermore, when the P&I values are were analyzed by variables such as school affiliation, gender, average, household income, and learning style. Technology is the area with the higher overall PNI value. When analyzed by school affiliation, it was found that the most learners want fast, accessible, and inclusive internet, except of learners from institutions under the MHESI, who want adequate hardware and software in school aid, and learners from OVEC, who want equipment loan system with sufficient resource in adolescence. In the policy, when analyzed by variables of average household income, among schools, most learners with an income between 30,000 baht to 90,000 baht. Group prioritize curriculum that help discover self-identity. For adolescents, learners with an income between, leader with an income between 10,001 baht to 90,001 baht. Group, the top priority was cost arrive with interest and attitude. And other group prioritize curriculum that help discover self-identity. And learning process by learning style. For school, divergence assimilative and accommodative learner are length, fun, and stress-free learning. And convergence learner prioritize various educational field tips. And for this sense, divergence and assimilative learners want reduced homework and manageable workload. Convergence learner prioritize and emphasize on vocational and life skill. And accommodative learner want engaging model and curricularity-driven content. In conclusion, our findings are clear. Need-driven learning is essential, not optional. We must listen to learners, understand their diverse needs, and design educational systems that are flexibility, inclusive, and responsive. Thank you for your attention. I hope this research inspires all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Suwanakan, for that crucial, data-driven look at the skills and learning environments of our youth need. Your research clearly identifies that the need for more engaging and stress-free and interest-aligned learning. So this leads us perfectly to our next presentation, which showcases a direct, hands-on attempt to build those very skills. We will now move from identifying the need to innovating a solution. Our next speaker is Ms. Apichaya Towivich, an educator at the professional level, also from the OEC Bureaus of Educational Research and Development. She will present on the OEC Hackathon, enhancing essential skills in Thai youth through innovation. Mr. Vichit will take us inside this exciting pilot program which challenged students to develop solutions for sustainable communities. We will hear about the key skills that were assessed, from complex problem solving to creativity, and the valuable lessons learned from about which skills saw the most growth and which remain a challenge. Please welcome Ms. Apichaya Towiwich.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Apichaya Towiwich from the OEC Educational Research and Development Bureau. Today, I'm sharing our case study on enhancing essential skills in Thai youth through innovation called OEC Hackathon. Does anyone know about hackathon? The term comes from the word hack combined with marathon, and it's an event where teams are challenged to solve problems under time pressure. So it's often intense and competitive, yet highly constructive, which can lead to many innovative ideas and even practical innovation. Typically, hackathon consists of 4 key activities: knowledge sharing, practical workshop, mentoring session, and usually ending with pitching presentation. As you can see, that there is a clear learning curve here. That's why we try adapting it in education. For OEC Hackathon, it was organized under the theme เรียนดีมีความสุขชุมชนยั่งยืน or authentic learning, genuine happiness, and sustainable community. We intended to use hackathon as a learning model, which is fun and constructive. Then the task is to develop innovative solutions that address local issues for sustainable communities. The target group for our first year include team of 3 to 4 upper secondary or vocational students, accompanied by an advisor. And the main objectives are to enhance their essential skill and assess the developments before and after the event. This initiative is part of a pilot program for developing essential skills among Thai youth, led by Professor Prasit, our chair of our subcommittee, and Dr. Rung Mapha, our bureau director. And it's also officially approved in the Education Council. The framework comprises 7 basic skills, which are essential for all Thai citizens, and 19 advanced skills, which are so essential but to varying degree in different fields. To organize this hackathon, we try our best to make it research-based and reliable. As you can see on the slide, for the whole process of hackathon preparation, let me highlight some key aspects. First, we've got strong partnerships. In addition to the OEC team, we partner with Hackathon Thailand, as well as experts in different fields, such as education, economics, research and evaluation, innovation, and community development. They serve as criteria reviewers, selection committee members, mentors, and judges. Moreover, we have an evaluation team, especially responsible for skill assessment. Both preliminary selection and final judging criteria were academically reviewed and validated. They focus on 2 main areas, skill and innovation evaluation, with slight difference in detail and weighting. Our selection process was also systematic and rigorous. We began with blind review and double assessment using 50/50 skill and innovation criteria. Over 200 applications were reviewed and shortlisted to 30 teams based on score ranking and proportional representation across school affiliation. This is because our analysis shows significant score difference between them. And then the average scores from 5 selection committees members were used to select the final 10 teams. Again, applying score ranking and proportional representation. So we have obtained relatively diverse participants. They come from 10 different provinces across Thailand, 4 different types of schools: government, private, vocational, and university-affiliated laboratory school. 80% were new to hackathons, and their projects address a range of local issues, including health, agriculture, tourism, environment, and education. The following is a short interview clip from one of the finalist team. Although it's in Thai, it still gives you a glimpse into the atmosphere and what students experienced during the hackathon. So let me start the clip.
พวกเรามาจากทีม Smart Mango Team Unit ค่ะเป็นเครื่องช่วยเก็บเกี่ยวผลมังคุดด้วยเซ็นเซอร์ตรวจจับสีค่ะก็คือหลักการทำงานนะคะโดยเราจะมีตัวเซ็นเซอร์ค่ะก็คือเซ็นเซอร์ของเราจะเป็นตัว RGB Color Sensor นั่นเองค่ะก็คือเราจะนำตัวเซ็นเซอร์ไปเจาะที่ผลมังคุดนะคะตัวเซ็นเซอร์ก็จะตรวจจับค่าสีแล้วก็ส่งข้อมูลมายังหน้าจอแสดงผลตรงด้ามจับไม้ของเราค่ะประโยชน์ของมันนะคะเราสามารถนำเซ็นเซอร์ตัวนี้ไปปรับใช้ให้เข้ากับอุปกรณ์เก็บเกี่ยวผลผลิตของเกษตรกรได้เลยแล้วก็ช่วยเพิ่มประสิทธิภาพความแม่นยำในการเก็บเกี่ยวทำให้เกษตรกรได้ผลผลิตผลมังคุดที่มีระดับความสุขชัดเจนแม่นยำสามารถส่งออกได้ราคาค่ะชุมชนหนูค่ะจะมีผู้สูงวัยเยอะค่ะจะใช้วิธีการปีนป่ายขึ้นไปหรือว่าเพ่งเล็งเป็นระยะเวลาที่ค่อนข้างจะนานมากค่ะซึ่งการทำวิธีนี้นะคะทำให้เกษตรกรเกิดอุบัติเหตุได้ค่ะแล้วการใช้สายตาที่นานอาจจะทำให้ปวดตาได้ด้วยค่ะจากปัญหาข้างต้นที่พวกเราได้พูดไปเมื่อกี้นะคะนั่นก็คือการใช้งานไม้ปกติเซ็นเซอร์ RGB ค่ะแล้วก็ตัวหน้าจอแสดงผลค่ะแล้วก็จะมีตัวแบตเตอรี่ที่จะส่งสัญญาณหรือว่าส่งไฟฟ้าไปยังตัวเซ็นเซอร์ของเราค่ะเข้ามารบกวนการทำงานของเซ็นเซอร์ทำให้ค่าที่ได้ผิดเพี้ยนจากเดิมและเรื่องของรูปร่างลักษณะซึ่งเกษตรกรนะคะที่ลงพื้นที่ไปนะคะไม้ของเกษตรกรมีหลากหลายรูปแบบค่ะต่อยมาเย้ค่ะ
OEC Hackathon followed 4 key activities as mentioned earlier. During online orientation and 4-day on-site camp, there were activities such as data collection training and target group analysis, design thinking workshops based on the 5 stages: emphasize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. One-on-one mentoring session with experienced mentors to refine each team's innovation ideas. And the final pitching presentation in front of 7 honorable judges who also provided constructive feedbacks and positive encouragement. We applied 60-40 weights for skills and innovation in judging. The top 3 teams were selected based on the highest average score. However, we check assessment consistency before finalizing. At least 4 out of 7 judges should have to be agreed on. If the results were inconsistent, a judges' discussion was held to reach consensus before confirming the final decision. Advisors also received training as innovation coaches, encouraging a shift from traditional teaching role to coaching support base. Through activities such as technique sharing, trial application of coaching strategies, and also structural reflection to assess and refine their coaching practices. We assess student skill development through pre, mid, and post-activity assessment. For this time, we focus on 6 advanced skills, which are selected for their priorities, relevance to the hackathon format, and feasibility of data collection. The assessment tools are tests and self-assessment in various formats, depending on the suitability of each skill. all of which were also validated before actual use. For our finding, although most changes were not statistically significant, positive trend and noteworthy observation emerged. The following is a summary of the finding for each skill. The hackathon appeared to stimulate the development of active learning and growth mindset, particularly in how participants perceive challenges as learning opportunities and demonstrate dedication to complete tasks despite difficulties. There was a positive shift in the belief that intelligence and capability can be developed. However, a small group of students exhibit a decline in this belief, likely those with lower self-confidence, placed in a competitive setting and exposed to high-performing peers. There was no notable change in attitudes of challenge seeking, which may be because most students had already scored highly in this area before the event, reflecting the nature of students who voluntarily chose to join the hackathon. Finally, acceptance of criticism showed the least positive change, while appreciation of others' success ranked lowest among all components. This outcome may have been influenced by the event's competitive atmosphere and performance pressure, although the learning-focused purpose of the activity was consistently communicated throughout the event. Participant expectations were difficult to avoid. Overall, ICT and digital literacy show an upward trend, particularly in problem solving, communication, collaboration, and content creation. This may be attributed to the central role of problem solving in the hackathon. Moreover, throughout the activity, students were required to use digital tools to search for information, facilitate communication, and develop presentation materials. However, there was no observable improvement in information literacy and digital safety, as they were not emphasized during the hackathon. All components of creativity and innovation were improved, though to a varying degree. Notably, risk-taking demonstrated a statistically significant increase. This may be due to the format of the hackathon, which encouraged students to take intellectual initiative, explore unconventional approaches, and experiment with different methods and ideas. The experience also appeared to enhance students' awareness of the potential risks and impact associated with their innovation. Complex problem solving showed the least positive change among the assessed skills. This may be because the skill requires a longer period of development, making it difficult to observe significant change within a short time frame. More importantly, the time pressure and competitive environment may have limited student ability to fully demonstrate their potential. As a result, many rely on quick fix or familiar approaches rather than engaging in in-depth analysis that consider the complexity and context of the issues. Nevertheless, at the sub-skill level, students exhibit greater progress in knowledge acquisition than in knowledge application. This suggests that participants likely gain new concepts during the activities, which emphasize understanding stakeholder needs and designing appropriate targeted solution. However, within the limited time frame, students may not have been able to fully integrate and apply their learning to address complex problems in a comprehensive way. Furthermore, the task itself also focuses on solving local community issues rather than applying knowledge to other contexts. The assessment of collaboration showed no statistically significant difference. This may be because many teams had already received relatively high scores from the outset. Most students reported positive collaborative behavior across all dimensions. As a result, post-activity scores were generally stable and show only minor increases. Notably, the greatest gains were observed in role delegation, shared responsibility for mistake, conflict management, and joint problem solving, which are key components of cooperation and coordination. However, a portion of participants scored lower after the activity. This may have been influenced by the pressure of competition, which led to heightened expectation both for themselves and their teammates. In addition, minor conflicts during group work may also have contributed to this outcome. Since the final assessments were conducted before the activity had fully concluded, some responses may have been affected by emotional factors. For the last skill, most students show improvement in resilience, stress tolerance, and survival skills. This may be due to the hackathon fast-paced and high-pressure nature, which challenge students to manage stress and adapt under time pressure. However, some participants perceive a decline in their ability. Given student diverse background, some may have felt less equipped to handle challenges when faced with a competitive environment, time constraint, and unfamiliar learning topic and format. As a result, they rate themselves lower in this area. In addition to skill assessment, there are students' feedback and observational evidence. In terms of skill development, collaboration, communication, and resilience were prominently highlighted in participant reflection. They reported about more opportunity to communicate and listen to one another, resulting in strong team cohesion, effectively share responsibility, and offer mutual support throughout the activity. Participants also learn to express ideas more clearly, manage unexpected situations, and use appropriate media to enhance communication. Confidence and public speaking were areas where some students recognized a need for further development. Additionally, some teams reflected on their growth in adaptability, emotional regulation, and resilience, especially in coping with pressure, stress, and anxiety. Some students developed personal strategies for relaxation. They also demonstrated perseverance and learning to manage disappointment constructively. For other aspects, they indicate overwhelmingly positive experiences. Most students reflect on their personal growth through first-hand learning outside their comfort zone, led to deeper self-understanding and more meaningful social interaction. Moreover, they gain valuable concepts and perspectives that help refine their innovation ideas, particularly in understanding their target groups, defining problems more clearly, and applying systematic and analytical thinking. These improvements were largely driven by the design thinking framework, which play a crucial role in helping students enhance their innovation to become more relevant, user-focused, and impactful. Overall, the hackathon concluded on a positive note. The experience inspired participants to continue improving themselves, to further develop their innovation, and ultimately build upon their ideas to bring about real and lasting community development. Next is key recommendation to enhance the design and implementation of future hackathon. First, while the hackathon can spark students' inspiration and motivation for learning and self-improvement, skill development often requires sustained engagement over a longer period to see clearer results. It is therefore recommended to conduct follow-up assessments after the event to monitor both skills progression and continuation of teams' innovation project. Next, involving teachers as innovation coaches can yield long-term impact, as they play a crucial role in sustaining students' learning and can help disseminate the approaches and pedagogical strategy gained from the hackathon. So it is important to allocate dedicated time and activity for teacher development. Fatigue and pressure affected assessment outcome. Many participants experience exhaustion, insufficient rest, and even drowsiness during testing, which likely hinder their performances. It is therefore advisable to review and adjust the activity schedule to be more suitable. However, preserving the essential elements of time pressure and competition that characterize hackathon. In addition, the assessment process could also be redesigned to be more engaging and better integrated into the overall event. And there are additional relevant skills which could serve as potential focus area in future assessment framework, including communication, interpersonal skills, reasoning and ideation, critical and analytical thinking, initiative, and system thinking. Lastly, to support continuation of hackathon initiative, it is recommended to develop digital tools and platforms for skill assessment. These tools can enable systematic data collection and facilitate more effective evaluation of student skill development. In the long term, they may serve as a foundation for analyzing and scaling the assessments of essential skills to a broader population. There are three aspects for our next step. We will disseminate key findings and our lesson learned, as well as formulate policy recommendation to inform future application and scaling. Then there will be a follow-up on student skill progression and project implementation soon, possibly along with future support. And currently, we are also improving next OEC hackathon through area-based approach, deeper innovation development, data-driven design, and refined assessment. Your feedback are very welcome since it's the very first round of OEC Hackathon and there is much room for further improvement. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Pichaya Towiwich, for that fascinating look at how hackathon can increase their learning and human skills. One of the examples of the hackathon programs focus on developing innovative solutions for sustainable communities. Bring us directly to our next topic, which addresses a critical component for that sustainable future, green skills. I am now pleased to introduce Assistant Professor Dr. Suthi Janya Suthiwong, a lecturer from the Department of Environmental Science at Kasetsart University. He will be presenting on green skills towards sustainable environment and livelihood under the context of Thailand. Please welcome Dr. Suthi Janya Suthiwong.
Okay, good morning everyone. So this is really my pleasure to be here. So today we are going to share about the experience about the green skill toward the sustainable environment and livelihood under the context of Thailand. So basically I'm a lecturer at the Faculty of Environment. So most likely I deal with a lot of about the environment issue. So in the field of education, so you might be more expert than me. Maybe we can share some the point together so we can develop something and then make our future more sustainable together. So for the topic today, it's just that we have experienced many things recently, especially like the change in the world and the climate, and also sometimes some of the disaster that was never occur in Thailand before, and now we have experienced. For example, we just had the earthquake. We never thought that in the center of the Bangkok, we would face such a huge earthquake. But we may have some report in Thailand, in the northern part, that they may have the geometrics, that you may have some earthquake, experience some a bit of the earthquake. But at the end of the March, that we have experienced a lot of the earthquake, even the building had been collapsed. And also for more than that, we also have a lot of the report of smuggling, where they put the electronic waste and hazardous waste and ship to Thailand. Some of the PM 2.5 and the haze, and also some of the burning, which is air pollution. We also have a lot of report about the destruction and the destroy of the forest, deforestation. And recently, we also have a bit of the problem with the Kok River in the northern part of Thailand. So basically, in this incident, there was it has the heavy metal contaminated in the water body, and Kok River is quite a big river, and then it was a branching, and then they join together into the big river of Thailand, and then that will affect a lot of people who live along the river. And moreover, when we talking about the Thailand, then we are quite famous for the agriculture. So basically, we use the water from the river for agriculture. So most of the crops may contaminate with that one. But right now, we also have the Department of the Pollution Control. They're still looking for the solution and then try to find a solution. But how did this happen? All of this happened is because of human activity. I would rather say that 99% is mostly human activity. So there was also a question. I got this one from internet. We have a lot of problem about the environment. Why? Why we have a lot of environmental problem that come from human activity? Do Thai really not care about the environment? This is a nice question. Sometimes it is when I give the lecture to my students in my faculty, I would say that we have to admit one of the statement first, so then we can talk about the environment and development later. Because for my personal belief also, is that the development and also the economic development cannot go along well with environment, because you need to use the natural resource as a material, and then once you have the activity, you create the pollution, and whatever technology you have to manage or to utilize or to get rid of the pollution, it's never 100%. So what is the remaining? So we have the remaining pollution go back into the nature, and that part also start to contaminate, and then all of our resource start to get worse and worse. So it means that if we heavily utilize the materials or natural resources, then that means we get more polluted environment for us. But if we say that, okay, then we are going to be like, okay, we go green. We don't harm nature anymore. That means we will not be able to live like this with the air condition. Cannot have like a transportation and something like that. So this is the first thing that we have to admit first. For me, in my opinion, we have to admit first, we utilize natural resource, we destroy nature. However, it's not like that we cannot do anything, but we need to find a balance. We take some, and then we also kill some, and also we live in balance try to find harmonize of utilizing and also giving something back to nature. Because sometimes nature also need our help as well. Because sometimes when they have some disaster that can occur naturally, sometimes then the animals, plants, or maybe the soil, sometimes they cannot go and then find and move themselves like a rock, then they move themselves and okay, I want to step away from this place and then I just walk. It's not possible. So sometimes humans also have to help them. But the help also need to be academic and also maybe academic correctly also. So for this picture that we got, it means that we also have a lot of concern about the environment as well. Also, some of the years might be, how I say, it's dropped down. For example, like during the period that we have faced the global pandemic, the COVID-19. At that time, when we have the shutdown of the city, the air quality become very clean. Yep. But then after several time has passed, then we have new, I would not say it's new, it's re-emerging issue. We have plastic waste. Because people afraid of get contaminated, people start to get afraid of the contagious. Because at that time, COVID-19, we still didn't have any way to have not find any way to cure it yet. So it's like mortality rate is nearly 100%. So most of the people, as me as well, we also afraid to get infected and die. So that's why then we can care about the environment later. So we use plastic utensil to decrease the chance of contact with each other, even sometimes with our family member, because we didn't know that either that our family member got infectious or not. And that is something that is also related to my previous statement, that if you want to look at humanity, sometimes it go in the inversion of the environmental quality. But at least when the COVID ends and we find a cure of the infectious, I would say that I'm quite happy, because then people know that they use a lot of plastic waste. So at least they still have some awareness. So in order for human to go on, then we sacrifice some part of the environment. And then that's come to the other topic that I'm going to talk about. When we talk about the SDG, also, the Sustainable Development Goals, which is goals for the globals. So we have 17 goals, which can divide into 5 dimensions. The 3 dimension is a 3 pillar about the sustainability of human. Also, it was about social, economic, and environment. And we have the extra 2 dimensions, which is number 16, about peace, justice, and about also number 17, which is about a partnership. So we aim to balance nature and human growth, so that we can also grow on this, can also go on with this planet longer and longer. Also, after we have the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, we also have this about the climate change impact. And then we have this Paris Agreement, which Thailand also signed for participation. And also we have the roadmap towards zero emission in responding to the Paris Agreement. And this is a national roadmap. So in order to achieve this, it's not only government, or only industrial, or only school, or only some party that have to do the job. But it means every Thai have to do the job. We have to learn how to be zero together and join the hand to make all things happen together. So, however, we also have a bit of a problems, because we thought that the climate change impact may still have time for us to do the roadmap. And also the global might have some time to reduce the greenhouse gas emission. However, the time never wait for anyone. The impact was faster than estimation. And that's why in order to survive in the planet Earth, and also to cure the environment, so we have to do both two ways, the proactive and reactive. We have to reduce the emission of the greenhouse gas and as well as to cope up and adaptation for the change in environment. So we may face a lot of heat waves. Like in Thailand, we also have a lot of case of heat stroke report recently. And also as of now, you might also have some experience that during these past few days, we also have a lot of heat. And then the weather is getting hotter and hotter. And also in some area, then they have a lot of rain bomb. The rain bomb is just like a sudden rain that they just come out of nowhere and then drop down and then get everything flooding. So it means that for this one, we cannot only just reduce the gas and also just do it at a slow pace anymore. So we have to do it faster. And also how. The question will be how. Because it will be related later. Because when we're talking about the environment, sometimes I would say that sometimes a lot of the people who are not in the field of environment, sometimes they don't know how to do that and what is the cost and what we can contribute to help. And that's also the problem because time is very accelerate for all of this disaster to be appear. So this is also related to the national scheme of education in the fifth strategy. And then that's mentioned about the educational administration to enhance the quality of an eco-friendly life. So because they thought that the youth will be a very powerful force to help the nation in the education system. So the children will learn from the classroom. Also, then they can also go back to community. They also can be a leader because the young one also have a lot of imagination, power. They have enthusiasm. They have energetic. So they can become leader and then they can create a lot of things. And then when they enjoy hand with their friend, sometimes they can create a lot of things better than what we adults have expect. So this will be some of the, how will you say, some example from what I have mentioned before. We also have a lot of competition and maybe some of the contests, maybe art contest, maybe camp, or maybe about the innovation. And a lot of the students, especially in secondary school and sometimes in primary school, sometimes they have a lot of things that was really have a nice idea. And then we as adults, sometimes we didn't think about that. Because sometimes it was so simple. For them, they still see the world as a big playground. They still don't have the limit. But for us adults, sometimes we see a lot of limitation. But for them, they are not. So that's why sometimes their idea was very good. And then when they have the contest, it was like, this can also go into the real world. Maybe make it into something that can be sold. Or maybe we can also help them, push their project to become in reality. So this is they use the water hyacinth and then to make a sponge, rather than use a plastic or synthetic one. Or maybe they also have this one. This one also about then they think they create the curriculum about the water conservation, and then they won the competition. However, there come another question. Because of the competition and some contests, sometimes it's quite limited to the student who only in certain place or maybe in certain school, but not all the area we have this chance. So the question will be, how can we make all of the youth become cleaner? And if all the youth become cleaner in everywhere, then I quite believe that the community will also become cleaner. So this is a question: how can we make everyone become equally? So this is a bit toward on the environmental side. One of the problems that I have found during the time that I was do investigation and sometimes doing the interview, I found this one. Sometimes it's related to what I have mentioned before, because sometimes we would like to help, but sometimes we don't know whether that what we are doing is right or wrong. And sometimes we just do it because we didn't have any ill intention, but the effect was not so good. For example, I also, when I always go for the local area that they have this project, I always say that if they have this project, they can consult me, or maybe consult the local government about the environment first. It's not like that they are doing this they are wrong, but sometimes they use the wrong material, or sometimes they use the wrong method. For example, the picture on your left, if the forest is already become pristine or maybe already mature, so it means that they are not very destroyed. So that means they are sustained by themselves. So the way is that don't destroy it. The only way to do is don't destroy it. No need to introduce the new species or new tree into that one, because that is a word of the invasive species. Because this is also one of the problem in Thailand, in a lot of mountain area as well. Because sometimes when you plant the invasive species, it destroys the local species, the endemic species. And in that area, they might need that endemic species to sustain another species like animal, fungi, or something like that. And then they will become like on the, the regional scale, that this species must be maintained in this place to feed the bird or something like that. But when you introduce the invasive species, and then this species is gone, so the migrant bird might also be disappear. Also, the other one is that about the build a dam or the water or the weir in the very upper in the watershed forest. I would say that sometimes we think about how the water have to be there for human usage. But sometimes when we looking at the ecosystem, in some area, if you look at the water trail, during the dry period, it needs to be dry for some class or for some species of the plants to emerge and do that job in the ecosystem balance before they disappear and then they come back again next year. But for us, we think that, okay, when the water is dry out, and then water dry out is not good. So we build the dam or we build the weir. And then that area becomes flooding all year around. So this is something that the plant that might also need some dry period will not be blooming again. For example, you might think of something like maybe the curcuma. In Thai we have the patumma grajiao. So this is like they have the rhizome. So in some period or in some season, they have to be sleep or dormant under the ground. So once you flood it all the time, then all of this plant is gone. So I didn't want to be a harsh one, but sometimes when I saw in the social media, it's also difficult to to express, because when they do something and then they always have the word like just keep doing it, better than do nothing. For me, I would say that if we really have the intention to do something, then why not we do something that's correct and good, instead of we doing something which is incorrect, and then we just keep encouraged to do incorrect thing. For example, I also saw some of the photo just maybe 2 months ago. They introduced the lane lily. The lane lily is like a bulb of the flower, and then they put that in everywhere in the forest. but lily is not from the forest. And then they put that in the rainforest, then it's become an invasive species. Although some of them say that, no, it's okay, they will not cause much of the trouble. But why? We also have the plant that was native into that area. Why not we just use that one and grow it back, or maybe just don't do anything. Just don't destroy it and let it rehabilitate itself back to the nature. So for me, I would say that if you have that word, maybe you might really like, how you say, if you already have the good intention to conserve the environment, maybe just a little bit more. Ask the expert or maybe do some research, and then you can then your intention will be also correctly, and this will be preserve the environment very, very fully. So the problem is not a problem. So this is related of how we are going to forming our youth to be the good global environmental citizen, or maybe we can also call it for short as clean citizen. So from that, from the previous slide, you may see that in order to become a good environmental citizen, you need two parts. The first part is about environmental knowledge. So you don't need to know about the correctness of the environmental issue, and also you need to know about the update, because sometimes environment change every day, especially during the climate change. As I'm a lecturer in the university, what I taught my student last year, this year is already out. For example, like the heat wave, the heat wave and the heat stroke. Last year I was like, is something that may happen a lot in Europe, because we always heard about the story about this in Europe, but then it's become in Thailand. It's happened recently in Thailand. So what I thought last year is already not true anymore. Also, apart from you have the correct environmental knowledge, what we need to form the most is how to be a good citizen. Because for me, I would say that environmental issue or environmental problem is everyone's problem, but not everyone to take responsible. I always give this example for my student. Have you ever like some fried sausage or fried chicken on the stick? So once it's on your hand and the fried chicken is still on it, then that stick is very precious because it holds your food to your mouth. But when it's at the very last second that the last piece of the chicken get into your mouth, that stick become garbage. And the first thing that comes to your mind is where to throw this stick. And that is always happen. Because then once you think that, okay, it's waste, it's something not good, then you don't like to hold it for long. Then how to get rid of it? So this is like a little angel and a little Satan in your head. Okay, I cannot find the garbage. So should I throw it somewhere? Should I put it in the pot? Or maybe if we find the garbage, but it's not the right type of the garbage, will we put it in, or we will not put it in, or something like that. Because of something like this always happen. So for this one, we need to also imprint the awareness of how to be a good citizen to our children also. Also, apart from imprint the awareness, we also imprint the responsibility and also acceptance. Because sometimes people are coming from different backgrounds. So that's why we also have different thoughts. We cannot use this one formula or this one way to forming one's children and have everyone to do the same and we expect to get the same result. However, when we talk about the environmental knowledge, as a teacher and a lecturer, we always talk about, okay, knowledge is the knowledge. When we talk about the good citizen, so something is about the attitude. And what about the skills? So the clean skills Green skill is also become a very, very hot issue and a hot topic we're talking about recently. Because of it's related to the global warming, climate change, and also a lot of international, agreement that we have signed together globally. So the green skill is the part that encompasses the knowledge, ability, value, and everything together. And also it's a skill that required for the future. Our future will be talking more on about green job or greener job in the future where they have environmental issue embedded in everything. For example, you might already heard some of the green logistic. Or maybe you might heard about the carbon footprint already. So we might also face a lot of this word, we might already have faced a lot of environmental technical terms very recently. For example, like carbon footprint. So if you bought some of the ingredient from local, then it have less carbon footprint than from somewhere else that was far from the place that you are eating now. Or if you're eating and you didn't finish all of the food, and then food waste go to the dump site or maybe to the garbage, it creates a gas. And the gas is methane gas if it was too much. And then it was buried very, very deep in the ground, so it has less oxygen. It becomes methane. So then you are the one who produce the greenhouse gas or something like this. Then because of this in industrial sector and the governmental sector, sooner or later, then this pact of the agreement, we also imply the change with maybe forcefully or maybe not forcefully. For example, right now we also have a lot of things that going to change in Thailand. For example, like a CBAM from EU, and maybe also about the import and export of the stuff that they also might also need to ask us for the initial carbon footprint of the thing that before they are going to sell, something like that. So for the greener job, this is some skill that you might need to know. So I put down about the 4 category of the green skill that might be like a need globally. First, about the technical skill. The technical skill is most likely about the environmental knowledge, how to calculate, how to know about the renewable energy, how to calculate about the efficiency of the energy, what is the waste management, how to separate the waste, and which waste can also go for the waste to energy, which type of waste can go for recycling, or maybe which type of waste can also go for the upscaling, upcycle or something like that. The second skill is about operational management skill. So this is about how to do the management of the model, or maybe the supply chain or something like that. How to design the supply chain or design the whole process to become more cleaner or more greener. The third skill is about the communication and educational skills. I would say that this is a skill that was also quite important nowadays. And I find a lot of students these days quite doing this job is quite very perfectly. It's about the environmental communication and also about public engagement. You may see a lot of the influencer these days. So it starts to become a new jobs already. In the past, we never thought that we become influencer that can also earn a lot of the incomes. But now, say influencer has become already one of the very, very top income job that we have found in recently. So about the other skill will be depend on the job that you are applying for. For example, like entrepreneurship, maybe problem solving, or maybe analytical and the reasoning, and something like that. It's based on which type of the job that you may also need to apply. Then what might be the green skill for Thai? The green skills for Thai, they also have a lot of analytical one, and then they also come to the 9 skill that I was listing here. So it's most likely that if I summarize, it's about the thinking, about the thinking and listening skill. So the first 2 or 3 is about when we have about the thought. So we need a system thinking. Think about what might be the cause and what might be the effect, and what is going to happen in the ecosystem or in environment, that if we do this activity or if we don't do this activity. And the second one is about long-term thinking, because environmental problem is not like acute or maybe it just happen now. Sometimes you drop something in the river, it may cause a problem maybe 10 years later, or maybe cause a problem for the other who may be miles away down the stream or something like that. Also, the rest is something that we have to think about all of this, and also about not only about the academic reasoning, but will be about the calculation, and also about the observation, adaptation, and also about the communication skill, which might be seen as number 9. This is some part about the artistry, about communication, about how to communicate with the other to understand the same length as you're trying to communicate. So this is the green skill for Thai. However, there is a question. We may already know some of the green skill for Thai student, or maybe the Thai youth who is going to take some occupation and when we become an adult who move the country forward later. The question is how to teach the youth to be green. This is also something that we need to also think about that together. Because in this picture, in each country, they have their own way or they have their own philosophy about teaching their own youth to become a good citizen. For example, on the top, I use a photo of the Japanese students. The Japanese students, they have the philosophy on the education system into philosophy. The first one, they want to build the student to be a good in everything, academically. So they have Chitoku Thai to teach all of these students to become prompt in everything. And then also they have the Ikiru Shikara to teach the student to become a good citizen and know their duty and their responsibility. And then they also learn how to live with the other in the community in harmony. The next one, in the middle one, I use this one for the Finland. I think this picture is come from the Finland. And then they also try to increase the awareness for the kids, from the kids, by let the kids go into the nature, learning and exploring everything. So they start to have direct experience on all the natural things, and then they will start to absorb and increase their awareness unconsciously, increase the awareness about, oh, I need to love this thing because this relates to me. This is related to the flower that I love. This is related to the fruit that I eat, something like that. For us, the last one, we also have in Thailand. In Thailand, we also still have the, still in the teaching system. So all of the students was get into the classroom and listen to the lecture. So for the education in Thailand, and when especially about the environmental education, I gathered some of the data from documents, and also some of the time that I also interview the teacher from various of the primary school and the secondary school. For me, I found out that one of the most effective method that most teachers use to teach the student is from the project approach or maybe the area-based learning. Because this is giving the student the first experience, and then they will understand immediately because it's happened to their daily life. So they can start to think, oh, this happened because of this, and because of that, this occur or this happening. However, the effective of this area or project approach become less and less once the student getting in the higher and higher grade, because then they need to also do the subject for their admission to the higher education, which is a university level. And then environmental education in higher education, unfortunately, I would like to say that when they attend into the university, most of the subject about the environment will be only related to the faculty or maybe the program that they going to use the environmental subject for their profession. So if you don't use environment in their profession, then most likely in that curriculum or the program, they will not teach that much. However, it's not mean that in the campus life, the student will never experience some of the environmental activity. It's also become like a extra activity that they are doing together, especially if executive member of the university was like, okay, we want to go for the green campus, or we want to go for something like a conservation of the green energy, green building or something like that. And then all of the lecturer, staff, and the student will come together from various faculty, and then that's the time that when they know, and then they will learn about the environment. So this is some example that I got from my visit in the school. So basically, they also have the student the teachers that try to teach the student, especially in primary and the secondary school, to start to have awareness on the environment. So they also start to use the cardboard to make a book. And also maybe they start to find some spot on the building and then put the green area and something like that. Also maybe sometimes you can also see like how to do the waste separation in each type. And then they can also use this one and sell this garbage or maybe like a plastic bottle. And once they sell the garbage, and then there will be a local municipality come and buy this bottle. And then the student see that, oh, if we separate the bottle good enough, then we got some extra money to do some, to do some sport day or something like that. Then they, okay, then that means we earn some money. If we do something good, then it make student more enthusiastic to do something in their future. So for the teaching of environment in Thai, I try to summarize some part. Also, maybe we can share about this later. For what I find the strength in Thai system is because that we are quite rich in biodiversity. So we have a lot of resource for teaching our students. And also, if if our local is strong enough, then we can join hand between government, educational institution, and also private sector or industrial sector. For example, like in the Eastern Seaboard, in Rayong province, then they have like a industrial that come together and then also teach the student. One of the weakness, I would say that the problem of the rich in biodiversity, because most of the teacher will use the area-based approach. So it's make the student become like an expert in that ecosystem. For example, if you live in highland, the student will study a lot and everything about the highland system, and then they don't know anything about the shore or maybe the coastal line. But there is no guarantee that the student, once they graduate from the school, they will live in the mountain or maybe live in the highland. So that's why sometimes it's too focused on certain area. Sometimes it's also hinder about thinking about overall image of the things. Also, one of the things that I have found is that environmental knowledge is like it's an applied science and is integrated in every subject. But when you look as a core course or curriculum, sometimes you find that if you study physics, you have to learn about the heat. If you study chemistry, you have to only learn about this. And if you study in biology, you have to study about this. But environment is something that integrates everything together. So there is no direct subject that can teach about the environment. So then some school have to add it up as a supplementary lesson or maybe the activity. And one of the weakness that I found from all of the teachers that say about the hardness to teach the environment is that if you want to increase the awareness or if you want to increase environmental awareness, you have to do it all the time. One of the problem is that once you're in the school, you teach about do this not good, you cannot throw the rubbish away, you cannot destroy the plant, you cannot destroy this, you cannot burn, you cannot. But when the student or the children or the kids go home, and then they saw the family, and the family say, waste of the time, I no care. Then the municipal truck will just dump it all together again. So then there will be like a conflict because the teacher try to teach one thing, and the community or maybe the family teach the other thing. And as a student, sometimes as a kid, sometimes there was like who to believe and who they would take as a role model about the environment. Sometimes this is also something that we have to also think how to tackle this problem. One of the opportunity I think is that because if we thinking about the environmental issue, if the local set the goals together and move forward into the same direction, for example, like a learning city, eco city, or maybe something like this, then everything was moved together, then everyone will move into the same direction and benefit together. Once they get the co-benefit together, then it's easier to move forward. The treat that I found, only one treat, is that sometimes is when the environmental knowledge, it was like it's really update quite a lot and update quite fast. So it's also sometimes I wouldn't want to push the job to the teacher because they already have a lot of duty already. But sometimes like maybe yesterday they have something about the environmental issue about this, then they say this is correct. But maybe 2 days later, they say what they said 2 days before was not correct anymore. And then as a teacher, sometimes they don't have time to just cope up with all of this information. So this is a purpose for my study with my colleague, that if we want to make a future greener citizen, what we need to do, at least for the young one. About the green school, the first pillar about the green school. So if you use the whole institution approach, so it's just like that, you build the whole school into the cleaner school. Maybe think about the electricity use, energy use, maybe think about the planting the green area to reduce the heat, so you don't need to use the air condition anymore, something like that. And also maybe the principal and also maybe the teacher might also become the role model. And then they do all of this, and then the student who come and then see the role model, and also sometimes maybe you can also ask the student to do some, like a gardening, like planting the vegetable, and then let the student eat the vegetable that they plant. So sometimes it was like, okay, then they get the benefit together, then they start with, okay, I like this one, and then they will just absorb this. The clean curriculum. The clean curriculum is sometimes we also might need from the top-up approach also, that we might need to use this. And also if there might be someone who have like the guidebook that the teacher can also chop some of the subject or maybe some of the activity and then adapt to their own context. That might also be good. Also, one of the things that we can also do or maybe try to promote is make a local as a learning centers, because nobody knows their own environment and their own people better than the local people. Sometimes they have the wisdom, or sometimes they have the wise man in the local area, and then that's a very important teaching material. He can give a lot of experience and teach not only the young one but also us as adults as well, if we open. The third one about the green teacher. I would say that I cross out the education because I would like to promote about the learning better. Because if we, from my perspective, as not full in the education, but from the environmental perspective, when we talk about the education, it will going to be like in a classroom. I just keep teaching and then do the quiz and do the test. But if you can change from education into the learning and integrate learning with the real experience, maybe demonstration, maybe going to the side and then let them play, or maybe let them learn from the real case. Then if teacher have some time, and also if the school and the local have some resource to promote this event to happen, I would say that this is something that will help our young one become a greener citizen. Okay. And the fourth one is about the green community. It is also something that relates to the previous I mentioned. So about the school, if we teach so much, if we teach all the time, but when they get back home, and the community say that, nah, it's not that job, it's not that duty, I don't care, and something like that, then the greener citizen will not happen. So this one, we as a teacher also might also need to act not as a role model for the student, might also need to act as a leader for the community. Sometimes maybe we just arrange some of the project that the local can come and join, and then they will see that, oh, if they do something like this, it might be a bit complicated, but they will get something as well. For example, like a waste separation. So if they separate the plastic bottle, they can also get the money from selling back. Also maybe not much, but they still get something back. Also keep doing it little by little. And then some of the local, or maybe some of the people in the local might start to follow our lead. And that, I would say that that's a good starting point. About the green activity, mostly it's about the teaching also. It's not only about the teaching in class, but sometimes we also can have the other parties, for example, like the industrial party, or maybe the governmental party. They can also arrange some of the project, maybe like the pick up the rubbish on the shore or something like that, and ask the local, ask the student, ask us from the school to join in this project and then pick up all of this together. Okay. In summary, I would say that right now the green skill is right now green skill are must have both in proactive and also the reactive one. And the direct experience show better result in learning about the environment than giving the lecture. And I would say one of the approach that move everyone toward the sustainable development is getting the co-benefit. And also environmental participation is link everyone together. Thank you, and sorry if I take too much of the time.
Thank you for your presentation, Dr. Suthi, and for that vital discussion on the skills needed for a green and sustainable future. Thank you very much. For our final presentation this morning, we turn to another defining global trend that is fundamentally reshaping the future of learning, generative AI. Our final presentation is a collaboration between two distinguished experts. Please welcome Professor Dr. Chantavi Klaisang and Dr. Sasirat Weerawaithaya, a professor at the Faculty of Education, Chulalongkorn University, for Professor Dr. Chantavi Klaisang and Dr. Sasirat Weerawaithaya, Director of the Foreign Cooperation Policy Bureau at the Office of the Education Council. Together, they will present on generative AI in education, global perspectives and insights for Thailand's future learning. Let us give them a warm of welcome. Thank you.
Swadika. Without further ado, I'd like to start with to give you the background of this study about why it come like generative AI in education, global perspective, and insights for Thailand's future learning. Okay. Generative AI in education, global perspective, and insights for Thailand's future learning is one of the very important parts of the OECD study named the Use for Generative Artificial Intelligence in Education in Volatile World, following the UN's guiding principles and tailored to Thailand's context. To analyze the trends, research, and related policy, and offer practical recommendations to support education reform and the effective ethical integration of AI. The study aims to serve as a resource for program design, policy planning, and educational transformation in the 21st century. At present, you can see that in the world facing rapid and volatile change, technological innovations and facilities have been introduced, accompanied by advantage and disadvantages depending on how to use them. Human population and development for handling the phenomenon and living in the world of changing and rapid progress require strategic planning, resource, vision, and implementation that simultaneously address both current challenges and further development. National strategy on human resource development and strengthening identify strategic issues focus on addressing challenges in human capital development, as well as enhancing and advancing the development. Education plays a vital role in achieving these strategic goals. In line with this, the National Education Reform Plan highlights Reform Area 1, the overall reform of the education and learning system through the enactment of the new National Education Act as its subordinate legislation. It also emphasized education for self-development and lifelong learning to support human potential across all stages of life. This aligns with the 13 National Economic and Social Development Plan and in the milestone 12, which envisions Thailand having a high potential and lifelong learning workforce equipped for future development. It also corresponds with the National Security Policy Plan, Strategy 1, which focuses on the strengthening human security. Moreover, the international level organization taking charge in human resource development, education, and innovation have emphasized the importance of research into the use of generative AI. What that mean, generative AI? We heard a lot about that, but maybe it may about the autonomous AI system that do not require human intervention. This organization recognize both positive and negative impacts of such technologies on learners and education, families, and broader society. Ethical consideration is in use of AI also have been given particular attention. For example, UNESCO has initiated the Artificial Intelligence and the Future of Learning project, which began its initial research in 2018. The project recognized that a part of the technologies for exploring knowledge in learning management process, AI technologies such as ChatGPT, and other AI-based applications are increasing being applied. While such tools hold vast potential, they can also introduce misinformation and error that may have serious negative results if not managed properly. At the meantime, OECD launched the Artificial Intelligence and Education and Skill Report, which focused on AI rapidly advances that are crucial to understand how education will be affected. Important questions to consider include: how can AI be compared to human? Can it replace teacher? Can it use as a tool only to be the like ChatGPT to translate whatever they need to know, or they can do more than that? And how do AI systems perform tasks from various capability domains, such as different languages, reasonings, sensor monitors, and social interaction domains? What are the implications of the education and training? And also the very important part is the ethical framework for the AI in education. Despite the precautions recommended by various research studies regarding the use of generative AI, its widespread adoption in increasing inevitable, realizing the importance of the uses of this innovation. This report will include the analysis of the current situation, challenge, perspectives, theoretical foundations, relevant researchers, policy, collaborative networks, and also key stakeholders. It will also present the policy recommendation concerning the use of generative AI in education based on the global trends and tailored to Thailand context. The report that we intend to do will hopefully to be useful reference for the conducting education reform and development, or encourage the organization concerned to prepare guidelines or plan for educational development relevant to 21st century transformation. Additionally, this report can be applied in education program, design project, implementations, and serve as the valuable resource and for individuals interested in this area. The objective of the big project that OEC intend to study is number one, we need to examine the current situation, challenges, and theoretical perspectives, knowledge base, and relevant researchers concern the use of generative AI in education in the volatile world in accordance with United Nations guiding principle. Objective number two is to explore policy and collaborative networks, including international and domestic agencies, organizations, and individuals involved in improving learners through the use of generative AI in education in the volatile world, aligned with the UN guiding principle that I mentioned before. And the number three, to develop the recommendations regarding the use of generative AI in education in volatile world, tailored to Thailand context, and aligned with the UN guiding principle. We hopefully that the expect outcome will be like the policymaker and operation agency will adopt the proposed approaches and ideas for use of generative AI in education in volatile world, aligned with the United Nations guiding principle, adapt to the Thai context and to inform relevant policy development and extend to implementation into practice. And last but not least, expectation and the outcome for this one, stakeholders and network involved in development of learners and promote promotion of teachers, faculty, members, and educational personnel will be informed of global development and movement regarding the use of generative AI in various countries, as well as the relevant policy recommendation which deemed suitable to Thai context. Okay, so now we turn to the main topic for today, the generative AI in education, global perspective, and insights for Thailand future learning from the professional in the line, Professor Dr. Jintavi Klaisang.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, executives, researchers, instructors, and anyone who interested in, the emergence of AI. That I'm sure that's why you are in this room here today. So first of all, just would like to express my sincere appreciation and thanks to Dr. Sasirat, Dr. Sasirat, the Director of Foreign Cooperation Policy Bureau at the OEC, and also thank you to the Office of the Education Council for giving me this opportunity to get involved in this project with I'm sure that this is one of the trends, and it really gives me the opportunity to rethink about what would be the direction for us as the educators, to be involved and ready in, this kind of the emergence of the Gen AI in the education. So today, this is the sharing the progress of the almost done project that should be done in next month, but this is to share with you the progress report for this project. Okay. So first, let me ask everyone here in this room that who already asked Gen AI a question, like until now, since the morning. Okay, what kind of question? Personal question, work question, work question, right? So why you think of AI? Because it shortens your time, right? For example, if you want to write the very formal email, usually maybe it takes like an hour, but now, you just put the key concept and then ask them to make it like beautiful, formal, whatever that you want, right? So first is save you time. Second, with, like all of kind of, the workload that we are facing, sometimes we have to admit that our creativity is very decreased, because, we so busy with things. So AI can share the creative side of creativity for us to shopping. We select the best, the one that's good for us. And we as the experienced people, we have the critical evaluation to evaluate like whether this is right or wrong, and like should we trust this one or this is the hallucination one. So this is from us who are having a lot of experience. But the thing is that because in our educational system, we start from kindergarten, K-12, higher education, and blah, blah, blah. So different people have different experience to trust, to believe the information out there that generate from AI differently, depend on the experience. So this is what the OEC gave me, the challenge that, okay, come up with a solution for me, and not your solution, ask global perspective and share with us. Because whenever OEC want to move on something, we have to very carefully and very thoroughly consider on, what happened in the world, and to ensure that, we have aware of what happened, and then we synthesize, and then we contextualize to fit to our Thai student context. our educational context. So this is what this is the project about. So what we're doing today is we are going to share, what have we learned, so far, and then, during this progress report. So the first step is that for this project, I have reviewed and found that there are 4 very active countries, about this Gen AI. The first country that I have reviewed the information will be from the European country. Like many countries, they together as a EU and then come up with some of the guideline and practice about Gen AI. The United States also have a good perspective toward how to actively implement this into education. China is very concerned about, the data, the stereotype that Gen AI can create, the privacy, security. And last but not least, Singapore. Singapore is kind of like have the comprehensive view in terms of the education, very systematic way. So these are the 4 major countries that I have reviewed the document and then try to contextualize to fit to our Thai context and then propose to OEC. Okay, so the research methodology, as I mentioned, is going to include the first step is the review of the over 100 articles and research papers on the use of Gen AI in education. And another thing OEC told me that, okay, you be sure that all of that align with the, the UN framework, which is, I very agree with that because UNESCO framework come up with quite guideline for teacher and students. So we use that, as the baseline, and then whatever the paper or the article that I've reviewed, it will be in alignment with that framework. And then after I have those 100 articles, and then I select okay, these 5 countries will be the good use case to, to dig deeper into more detail. And after I receive, those, information, I have an opportunity to interview and also the focus group with 20 experts in, who are very expertise in AI, both national and also international levels. So both of them. And then the last step, which will happen end of this month, is we call the policy refinement. That we will propose some of the guideline, propose some strategy, the practical one, and to the key expert, stakeholder, and representative from relevant educational institutes in Thailand to see that whatever we review and we try to come up with the policy refinement, whether this will fit to the Thai education context or not. Okay. So the review, the literature review that I have done, it will, like I mentioned, based on the these 5 countries, and the first focus group that I have interviewed with our expert will come from 7 countries. I try to align it with what I got from the literature review as much as possible. So okay, I'm not. ใช่ นั่นใช่ปะโอเคโอเคค่ะ much better ค่ะโอเคค่ะ so for the international experts I have interviewed 12 of them who are the expert from China, Tsinghua University, from Hong Kong, the US, and many countries as the representative that I will have it in the my report. And it's just so luckily that we have the president of the AECT, which is she's very keen in the field of educational technology. She visited Thailand last Monday for the conference, so I have a chance to interview her as well, so can see her wisdom. So this is what I have been busy during past month, interviewing with all the experts. But really I have learned a lot and hear a lot of wisdom from them toward that perspective with the use of Gen AI that I'm going to share with you today. Okay, so here are the framework that I mentioned that OEC asked me that, okay, when you review any literature, ensure that it's have the alignment with the UNESCO framework. So the UNESCO framework basically have two guidelines, one for teacher and another one for students. The important that the main concept of the AI competency framework from UNESCO that they are really concerned with the teacher is that there are mainly 5 perspectives. First, human-centered mindset, the mindset that you have to deal with, the Gen AI, the ethical use of AI, the foundation and application. Fourth is about the AI pedagogy, how would be the role of AI in education, whether you use AI as the assistant in your class, learning, teaching assistant, you use AI as the co-creator in the class, that kind of things. And last but not least, AI for professional development. So us as a teacher, we have to, ensure that we receive the, this training about the use of AI and be able to guiding our learners, the way that it's supposed to be. And another interesting report is this one. In additional to that 2 UNESCO report, I found this to be quite interesting. This is the report about the ChatGPT, the use in higher education. And the way this report presents is that they define the role of Gen AI along with, the description and example of the implementation. So these are the role. And from the educator perspective, this is make a lot of sense. For example, you use Gen AI as the collaboration coach. So AI can act as one of the group member who, very knowledgeable, but maybe very less critical thinking, So, but consider one of the group member, or can be guide on the side, can be personal tutor. Whenever you want to improve yourself in any certain area, AI can gather all of the information and plan it thoroughly for you. AI can be the co-designer, study buddy, or dynamic assistor. Many teachers start to use AI from the perspective of be the assister, evaluator. You have your criteria of learning, you have the rubric scoring, and then you ask AI to give opinion according to those, guideline. So they can do it very objective. I guess, I believe, but yeah, that's what happened. And another report worth mentioning is also used to consider as the framework along with that UNESCO framework is the report from the OECD, which is about empowering learners for the age of AI. So this is focusing on the primary and secondary students. The main concept of this report is that they just talk about, ensure that, okay, all of our K-12 students have, the perceive of the use of the AI. They can use it. They can create, things from this AI and with ethically. So this is the main concept. So basically, knowledge, skill, and attitude are the 3 key drivers that we have to ensure that our students are be grooming in these 3 areas. Okay, so after reviewing those and with the expert interviews, we as a research team, we found the 4 key challenges. First, we found the digital divide and bias. Many people said that this is another wave of, the digital divide. Whoever be able to access to the Gen AI will be very, very efficiency in terms of the work. And the one who have the limit access, their work will be it's just a lot of digital divide, happen. This is another wave of the digital divide that happen nowadays. The second thing is about the bias. Okay, they said that whatever data being trained or being included in the LLM, for the Gen AI to regenerate, it can create the stereotypes somehow, and that's dangerous. That can lead to some like a dark side that I show you example later. So that is the concern, the challenge I found. And the second one is about the ethics and the academic integrity. Sometimes it will go along with the third challenge, which is the AI over reliance. So thinking about, when you using AI all the time, it seems that you getting to, rely on it a lot. Your writing skill may used to be good, but now you make good at other skill, like, just be sure you include all the keywords and then the rest, like AI help you. But so your writing skill is something that you will not have chance to practice as much as before. So that is one of the things that many people concerned about relying too much on AI that may reduce our thinking critically, creativity, or the problem solving skill. And also, the ethic and academic integrity. Sometimes, when you too easy to get information, you ask AI to like think about, okay, what would be the research discussion for my report, and then they suggest you that, and you think, oh, this is sound good. Probably I can use it and with the rely a bit, and but at what extent that is considered this is the not it's still ethically used, so this is something that many people are discussing and quite concerned. And last but not least, the last challenge would be the teacher readiness, that teacher may receive the training, but one training not fit all teachers, because we have the specific domain that we expertise in, and that also need to be addressed in terms of the use of AI. It cannot be like AI in general for everyone. Okay, and also the confidence, to use this in your class. So these are the 4 key challenges, and that I found from this study. The first country, or the first European countries, what I found from the review of the over 50 references, I found that the European countries, they're quite concerned about the ethical consideration with the use of AI, and they're quite concerned about the plagiarism, the ethically use, and on the good way that they also agree with the use of AI to support the research work and also the personalized learning. That that what I think like is the 2 things that I found is to be addressed most in the European country. So for the European country, the point that I would like to bring it up here is about the academic integrities and also the bias. This is some of the information I found, and this is what they concern. They said that Gen AI is not only create the digital divide, that not everyone will access the very privileged Gen AI that you have to pay every month, that one. But it can also at the same time they can create somehow the bias and ethic and academic integrities. So the photo on the screen on the left hand side showing the bias AI photo. When you put the prompt talking about the person at the social services, usually it will be the yellow people, Asian people. On the other hand, if you type in the prompt with the productive person, successful person, it's always come up with the white person. So this we're getting to concern a bit about, the creation of the stereotype that, the people in the next generation who not have enough experience or enough critical evaluation may mislead the information. Okay? And again, if you, put the prompt with a photo of a housekeeper, you will get, this result. So this is what us, as a global perspective, we're quite concerned about the creation of the stereotypes. Okay? Photo of the successful businessman, businesswoman. And if you put the successful person, of course, somehow it's bring up a lot of guys than girls. Women. So, things like that. So, yeah, this is what I found is to be interesting and maybe need a lot of discussion about this one, the stereotype. The second country that, I review and found it to be interesting is from the US, the United States. And for the US, I found that what they quite active is they believe in, how you actively integrate this use of Gen AI into teaching and learning, to make it, the class more engaging, active, and, learner will gain, knowledge acquisition. They said, we no longer, have teaching and learning, but people will learn through a lot of data, and they will use their knowledge acquisition in order to grooming them in terms of the academic. Okay, so here the interesting about the U.S. That have pointed out is that they have a lot of use cases, been discussed. For example, on the screen, you will see that here in this report, the word that I underlined said, I apologize versus an AI language model. I am unable to rewrite any text without having the original text to work, blah, blah, blah. So the writer of this paper even forgot to take out this part, they just put as it is, from what they got from the AI and put it out there. And a lot of research has been, detect and, have been concerned and finally, found that, for example, this one, see the result of this paper, special issue from one journal, the result and discussion said, as an AI language model, I don't have access to experiment, blah, blah, blah. So people out there, many academic, scholars, sometimes they rely on the use of Gen AI a lot, and sometimes, they make a mistakes by forget to just, take this out. So a lot of use cases like this, have been, shared, in many reports, and to warn and to make all of the scholar concerned about, the ethical use of the AI. So this is another area that I think the U.S. have been discussed a lot whenever I join in any the conference, the meeting. They quite concerned in terms of the academic integrity, ethical use, and be sure that during the academic process, ensure that you have the clear role and be sure that you don't have things like this come out as the academic work. Okay. Another thing that I think is also quite interesting is that about the AI over reliance of the use of AI. As we all aware that AI can generate a lot of different output in different categories, not only the text but image, video, audio, code, model, and everything, and just came out I think just last week. Now Gemini have the feature about the storybook. They can create the the storytelling, for kids, for kindergarten student, elementary student, and it's just you put the concept, what kind of story you would like, and then they come up, the story and all the graphic beautifully. So that is, something that AI have the ability right now. So when I review China, as I mentioned earlier, China have, of course, they not only concerned in terms of the critical use of AI ethically, responsible, and uses concerned with the academic integrity, but China also concerned a lot with the data and privacy risk. I had a chance to interview the professor from Tsinghua University, one of the top university in China. And at the university, of course, everyone know that China have their own Gen AI, right, the DeepSeek. So of course, DeepSeek can generate, the information that, out there. But Tsinghua University also add the the information, the data from their instructors, their expert, their researcher in that, LLM. And that they use it for the university, for their students to learn. And they have their own LLM, they have their own AI learning companion, they have their own knowledge graph. So what happened is that Chinese students will have great opportunity to personalize learning, come up with their own knowledge acquisition, beautifully, because the way that Chinese student learns nowadays is that they learn from, not only the lecture in the class from the professor, but they learn through the virtual lecturer. So they have, this, lecturer, and then they convert it into the, the virtual lecturer, and then just put the textbook, all related materials, and then they come up with the, the virtual lecture. They have the all the knowledge there, and with the Gen AI, they regenerate the knowledge graph, meaning that all the knowledge in one discipline are connected. So learners see the big picture from that knowledge graph, and then they can go to look into detail of each area. And then whenever they have questions, they have the AI learning companion to answer them. This is the way that Chinese students learn. And then they will, again, really have their own personalized learning assistant through, the way that, they plan, this is what China doing right now. When I review Singapore case, it's also interesting to see that Singapore country have planned their education quite systematic and very comprehensive. You can see that they have planned it and address all of the challenge and concern in not only for the policy level, but for the action level, they doing quite very good. And of course, cover all the aspect of the UNESCO framework. Come out to those, after I have reviewed, the global perspective, I come back and look at, the review from our country. So what is out there. And I found a lot of good resources, a lot. And Thailand, I found that we, as we all know, that we are focused on, the competency learning with, we ensure that everyone not only have the basic knowledge, but they have to achieve to their certain competency. So the use of AI in our country, what I found, I think we're doing quite good so far. We have AI in general provided for our students, AI courses. And we also have some courses in specific domain, that grooming people in its profession. We have a lot of guidelines available at, like from many ministry, from Ministry of Education, from university, from school. We have quite a good guideline to follow. And I would say that in terms of the policy and the AI literacy, in additional to we doing good in terms of the implementation of the global perspective, but I also think that we are quite good at when I interview Thai professor or the leading in AI, they said that we try to contextualize, make it to fit our context. For example, most of the teacher aware that like Thai people not good at asking question, right? But asking question can leading to the good way of learning, and asking question can lead to the good the skill of prompting engineering. You have to have the set of questions that you can ask Gen AI to generate whatever you need, So they said that that's why prompt engineering is very important for Thai students, because with our nature of learning, we are not good at asking questions. So this is a very important one. Okay. Second is about over-reliance of the use of AI. That are the two concerns that I experienced from the interviewing from Thai experts. Okay, the finding that what I would like to point out here is that the key finding I found is when we're talking about to put the Gen AI into action, aligning with the UNESCO framework. Everyone need to know, aware of the AI, but the foundation of AI may not enough. The AI in specific domain is also necessary. For example, I'm at the Faculty of Education. So if my student, of course, like we encourage them to take the AI foundation courses provided by the university, provided by the government, but that may not enough for our student. Our student also need to know about, something in the content specific, like how we use AI in education, how we use AI in our assessment, how we evaluate student learning process with the use of AI. What kind of ethical consideration should we consider in education, in our profession? And same thing, for example, if professor from Kasetsat who expertise in the green environment, he may have different perspective of the use of Gen AI toward his profession, and same thing with other profession. So what I would like to propose here is that as the policy into action, we cannot have only one set of policy or implementation. We can have the generic or the foundation one, but each profession need to have their own specific in that specific domain about the implementation of the Gen AI. The second area I found it to be quite workable is the continue of collaboration among like public and private sectors. OEC aware of like the rapid change of the Gen AI, and as well as many scholars. So when we think about to create the certain content for our students to learn about the AI, it's impossible that we can keep up to date with that content unless we have the collaboration with maybe private sector who are in that business or keen in that area. They will have very up-to-date technology, information, application, that kind of Gen AI related. So collaboration is something very interesting and very important to make this sustain the use of Gen AI in education sustain and effective. The use case is also another thing I would like to propose that I think is also important. Many countries, they start to have a lot of use cases in different professions. And I think this is important for our teachers, our students. This is, what I capture from, my interview with, this expert. She's the book author of the one of the very famous Amazon AI book author, like on Amazon, very best-selling author. And, these two are the professor at the university. So they together sharing the AI use case, about the use of, AI in education. 5 steps. First, like this teacher proposed that, okay, in their class, early childhood education, what they use is first, for the research and curate content, they ask students to use Perplexity AI to search for the 3 credible sources. And in this Perplexity, there is the space that students together can learn and do the prompt together. They share that resources. So this is the first step. Okay. They use Perplexity for research and curate content. The second one, they ask the team, the student to put in the team, and then from the source in step 1, they ask students to collaborative source analysis using the Google Notebook LM, because Notebook LM can summarize, content out there. Summarize within seconds. Not only summarization they provide the mind map, they provide the podcast. You don't have to read everything. You can listen conclusion of that information. So this is, the way that, they plan for students to learn with the use of AI. And then from that notebook LM, they ask students to synthesize and plan your campaign, come up with a project. And for the project, this is what notebook LM will give to you when you put the result out there, and this is what you will get. Okay, they will like summarize in the the concept mapping like that, and then you can look for more detail. The first step that they ask students to create the campaign media using AI tools like the AI avatar, the AI sound, voice, motion, picture, and everything. And last step, last but not least, they end it with the ChatGPT or the custom chatbot as the AI guided reflection. This is very important step. After you have learned, explored everything during the project, last step needs to be something that you reflect what you learn, what you know, what you don't know, and what is true, what is false, and what the experience you learn, and what would be the knowledge that you capture from that activity. So these are the 5 steps of the use case that this group of instructors from the US proposed, and I found it like something like this is very, very important and very meaningful for us as the educators. Okay, so that would be I think with the limited of time, I think that would be all of the progress report that I would like to share with you all, and the final one will come out end of next month in Thai version. So if you're interested in today talk, you may follow up with Dr. Sasilat for the full report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Jinsuri, for your dedication. And I think we still have a couple of time to have some few questions from the floor. If anyone need to ask Professor by yourself, you can take this time. Anybody? or Mr. Francois from the OECD also be here too. Maybe so. You need to ask any question or
maybe even share thoughts, like that. I mean, yeah. Thoughts, idea, your experience with Gen AI, or anything that I may consider to include in my report. That this OEC report. Yeah.
Is it okay?
Thank you for your presentation. So it was very good. I would like to support what you have mentioned before. Like if you rely on the AI too much, sometimes your skill will get dull. I already have that problem because sometimes when I was okay, too much of information to read, and then I was like, okay, AI, please summarize and do something like that. And then one day, when I tried to search for something so specific that the AI didn't show any result, and then I had to scroll down the whole page. I was like, oh, I took too much time. Also, I have a lot of experience from my student and my also colleague when they ask AI to write something for them or to calculate maybe some easy, maybe like conversion of right to square meters or something like that. And then when they come to do on the calculator, then they was like blank for like a few minutes.
They kind of stunned.
Yeah.
Kind of stunned and don't know what to do.
I also, because when I asked them to maybe 10 divided by 2, and then the student was like stunned and was like, how to do that?
In many international conference that I'm joined before, it's talk about the over rely on AI supposed to make the identity of each other people disappear. That means we rely on the information that come from the algorithm that we put in the prompt and something like we always. Even we search something in the YouTube and something they collect our data, but finally when too easy to present whatever we need, we lost our identity because we quite use the easy way.
Also, for addition, I also totally very agree about the user of the AI should also have the critical thinking, because I also found one of the case from my student that she put some question, I cannot remember which question, and then the AI tried to find the answer to that question or to the keyword, but in reality it's not like that. That answer will be maybe very 0.01% that can happen, and then she just rely on that answer, and then she didn't believe of the 99.99%. They also have some of this problem. So if they don't have the the background knowledge or some critical thinking about that, and also sometimes they also maybe maybe some fake news or something that was a popular or trend, and people just start to share around, and then the AI thought that this is real, and then lot of my students when they do the AI for their term project or something like that, is come with a lot of this information. So I would really agree with that one, but then the user also need the critical thinking to distinguish whether that the AI give us the good result, the reliable one, or just something that we need to rethink about that.
Any questions or anything? Okay, so as Professor said, our process of doing this study will finish around the end of September, and we will launch maybe in December, before December. Okay, we will publish in the website of OEC, and please to be continue for us. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Dr. Jintavi Klaisang and Dr. Sasirat Weerawaithaya. And let's have one final round of applause for all of our speakers and presenters. from understanding fundamental needs of our students to innovative methods for building their skills to preparing them for a sustainable and AI-driven world. This session has provided a comprehensive look at the global trends shaping education's future. I want to thank all of our presenters for their invaluable contributors. And may I invite all of the presenters and Mr. François, starting from OECD, to have a memorable group photo to conclude the session. Please may I have all the presenters on the stage. We are going to have a group photo to conclude the session. เอาลงไม่ใช้แล้วเอาลงได้หมดเลยโน้ตบุ๊กของใครได้ข้างบนเลยก็ได้